Hey there! This is going to be a bit of an unconventional video. First I'll make excuses for my incompetence, and later I'll tell you guys about what's to come for Serana Dialogue expansion. Good? Good. So, as some of you may know, I've been busy with the final exams, so I barely had any time to play Skyrim. What you don't know is that I changed my mod list so much that all my save files were corrupted, so I had to start a new game. That resulted in me not being able to understand why the follower scenes not tied to the main quest never played at all. For 5 months! And it was all because of this little, puny, insignificant, sickening, infuriating, motherless, unchecked box! So yeah, it's fixed in the 1.1.04 update. Now, this unforgivable bug fix doesn't warrant a video of its own, so I thought that now that the finals are over, I may as well tell you guys about the future of this mod. First and foremost, I'm finally on summer vacation, but I also want to get a job to earn a bit of money. My Bionicle collection isn't gonna pay itself. Whether or not I'm successful, it's up to the current demand for junior 3D animators. If I do get one, it will impact my schedule, but I am fairly competent when it comes to 3D animation, so I don't think it will cause me to delay any further progress with the mod. Still, given how things are right now, I wouldn't expect anything until late summer. But enough about me. Let's talk about SDE. The other SDE. So, priorities. It's been a year since I first began writing the mod, so I believe this is a good time to start writing the romance add-on. Now, if you guys have read the frequently asked questions, which I know many of you didn't, you probably know why this feels like such a Herculean task for me. I don't want to do this at the cost of her character assassination. Her trauma and regret have built up an unbreakable barrier when it comes to personal relationships, so breaking it realistically in a span of an in-game week is easily one of the greatest challenges I've faced as a writer, especially considering that I've never written romance before. However, I have seen enough to distinguish a good romance from a bad one, so I can assure you that I won't take a page from Emil Pagrerulo's take on romance, or writing in general.
And what are they going to do with it? They're going to rip out every page and make paper airplanes out of them. Keep it simple, stupid.
Why are you preaching incompetence? In fact, I already know how I want to end the romance, and in my opinion, it's a pretty organic and wholesome conclusion to her character arc. My concern now is the journey. How do I get there? How do I plant the seeds? That is my primary objective. Like I said, it's going to be a Herculean task, but I made it this far and I understand her character well enough. I know I can pull this off. In addition to the narrative experience, I also want to make unlockable interactions that are similar to those of a spouse, but some might come with a twist. Of course, that just means that I have to learn how those interactions work in the creation kit, which is another Herculean task. Bugs are within the realm of possibility, and if I make a Bethesda early access mess, I'll cut them from the final product instead. Please temper your expectations. Moving on to another subject, I got myself into a bit of a lore controversy. During the first stages of the writing process, I researched as much as I could about when Serana had been born. Some evidence suggested that she was born in the Second Era, but then I came across this line.
The Dova roamed the skies, vying for their small slices of territory that resulted in immense and ultimately fatal battles. I was, but unlike some of my brethren, I sought solutions outside the norm in order to maintain my superiority.
Now, we know for a fact that the Akaviri dropped dragons to extinction by the beginning of the Second Era, so there's no way that Valerica's imprisonment happened before the end of Romance Dynasty, right? It must have happened during the First Era. So that's what sold me the idea, and I love the fact that Serana was born so long ago that she was a fish out of the water. But then a couple of users came to me with evidence that proved that Serana was, in fact, born in the Second Era, long after dragons went extinct. Okay, to be fair, it is known that time in Oblivion doesn't work linearly, so somehow Durnevier made a deal with the Ideal Masters to guard Valerica centuries before she even existed! So, the damage is done, but I'm a bit quite obsessed with the cannon, so I'm torn between doing nothing about it or sacrificing some of my favorite interactions. Alternatively, I could make an add-on that removes and or replaces some of the dialogues that reference the first era instead of changing the mod itself, but I don't know how you'd feel about having to add even more files to your mod list. I think I'll make a poll and let you guys decide. I can't say it's my top priority, but it's something I want to get to in the future. Last but not least, I wanted you guys to know that I do have plans for the content I'll be adding in the 1.2 update. I won't reveal much in order to temper expectations. Besides, my monthly subscription to 11 Labs is a heavily influential factor in how much content I can add. But I can tell you that I have already written interactions for a couple of quests and more followers. I also want to try and see if I can learn to make a Serana teleport spell like the one Inigo has. But whether or not I can pull this off is up to my capacity to understand complex programming. And that's pretty much all I wanted to cover. Sorry I don't have anything substantial to offer right now, and sadly it's going to be like this for a long time. That being said, I am taking notes about your suggestions, so anything that helps this mod reach its full potential, it's always welcome. There's a lot of vanilla content left to cover, so there's still years before I can finally see this mod completed and say,
"Oh, I've wasted my life."